fire in the deli.
Got a fire in the deli.
Yeah.
Fire Control Battalion 2, stand by for dispatch. We have a report of a fire in the building in the deli of the MGM.
November 21st, 1980. At the time, the MGM Grand Hotel fire was the second worst hotel fire in U.S. history, and it ushered in a decade of deadly high-rise fires.
Hello, I'm Joe Whitty, and welcome to Disaster Chronicles. In this program, we'll learn how a small fire in this building became a disaster. We'll meet people who survived harrowing hours trapped in the hotel, and we'll learn how this tragedy forced the issue of high-rise safety into the consciousness of Americans. But first, let's go back to that catastrophic morning as the disaster unfolded.
The 26-story MGM Grand was the city's preeminent luxury hotel. It included a famous showroom, huge casino, fancy shops, and restaurants. The hotel was crowded when a small fire began in the MGM snack shop called the Deli. Shortly after 7 in the morning, the fire call came in at the station directly across the street from the hotel. The fire captain was Rex Smith.
When we reached halfway across the casino, we were met by flame which was rolling down from the ceiling and progressed down toward the floor as it was coming toward us.
Flames filled the deli, and soon a fireball was moving through the casino.
The flame was traveling at such a rate that chased us back to the entrance that we came in at.
Officials later estimated the fire traveled across the casino, the length of a football field, in less than 20 seconds. Chief Fire Investigator of the Clark County Fire Department, Mike Patterson.
And we had what we call a backdraft situation, which is a fresh induction of oxygen, causing, a lot of people would liken it to an explosion, but it's the ignition of all the superheated gases.
Had it been later in the day, the area likely would have been jammed with gamblers. At this point, smoke rising from the MGM could be seen from miles around. And firefighters were rushing toward the MGM from all over the Las Vegas area. Police requested assistance from all available helicopters to help in the evacuation. Many of the 7,000 guests were asleep in their rooms, and ironically were the last in Las Vegas to know of the inferno raging below. There was no warning.
We didn't hear anybody yelling anything. There was no sound. There was no, aside from fire engines, which we figured were going somewhere else. And there were no sprinklers, you know, smoke. There was just nothing to alert anybody.
No personnel in the hotel made any effort where we were to notify anybody. No one was knocking on the doors.
The fire never went above the second floor and was quickly contained. But the smoke continued to spread above.
When I heard a lot of running in the hallway, and it just didn't sound normal to me, so I opened the door, and the hallway was just covered with smoke. And I wasn't dressed. I grabbed my coat. I just left. I ran and ran and ran, and I went nowhere.
Fire engine ladders only reached 9 stories up. No help to those on the upper floors.
We're on 19th floor, and the smoke was coming. We were at an angle, and so we were really getting the smoke. And we took wet towels and soaked them in water, put wet towels by the door. And we just lucky to get out of there.
As people tried to escape, many were forced back to their rooms, trapped by the smoke. On balconies, they begged and screamed for help, waiting for what must have seemed like an eternity. Many broke windows in desperation for some fresh air.
For over an hour, the sound of glass never stopped. I saw a sheet of glass 3 feet square anywhere, 4 feet square, come down and shatter on a fireman in the middle of the ladder.
They didn't break out just a pane or two. They broke out the whole thing. And in some instances, they broke out the wall.
Some made daring escapes, and others jumped.
We saw one lady jump from the other side over here, about 8 floors down.
Even after the fire was out, the rescue drama continued for hours.
When I got to the ladder, it tilted and broke, and the firemen pulled me back. And so we waited a while, and so this man had a heart attack in the room. And then we had to get the fireman and 4 others. We went on up the stairs, and got on the roof and came on down in the helicopter.
Construction workers building in addition to the hotel joined in the rescue effort.
See, this one woman just had a short fur coat on, had her one leg out the window, ready to jump out the window. I figured we had to get her first, and we brought her down the scaffold first. And I went up 2 more times after that and got more people down, but that's when the smoke got to me, and I went to hospital 4 days.
Helicopters were crucial, airlifting people off balconies and hundreds off the roof. Below, guests were instructed to remain calm.
The firemen will reach you. Stay in the building. The firemen will reach you.
But the helicopters also created a great deal of confusion, noise, and blowing debris.
Stay the hell away from there for a minute. Get somebody on that roof with the megaphone and tell those people what to do. They can't hear anything.
For some, feelings of helplessness and danger turned to anger. As a stream of people slowly emerged from the hotel, some on their own power, others in much more desperate condition, frantic life-saving efforts went on in the street. Area hospitals quickly became overwhelmed with people suffering from smoke inhalation. 2 hours after the fire erupted, the firemen made their way to the 19th floor and above. There, they found smoke and heart attack victims dead or dying. And one room at a time, one body at a time, the scope of the tragedy began to unfold. A priest later made his way up through the hotel, blessing bodies.
And there were several rather tender scenes. One particularly I remember was the waiter had just delivered breakfast, and he was there beside his tray, and one wife was with her husband with their arms intertwined. It was very sad.
In the end, 85 people were dead, about 700 injured. How could this have happened? How could so many people have died?
A star-studded night with Jane Powell, Fred McMurray, and Barbara Eden on hand. But when it was constructed, an old 1970 fire code law did not require buildings of this type to have sprinklers and warning devices. Some areas of the MGM did have sprinklers, which worked well. However, most of the hotel had none. And when the codes were revised in 1978, the MGM owners were not legally obligated to bring the hotel up to date.
So by 1980, the MGM, like most Las Vegas hotels, didn't meet fire standards of the day.
We have no enforcement power over. We have suggestive powers over. We have recommendation powers. But, you know, to actually, to accomplish what we want to accomplish, we don't have the authority.
This is what the casino looked like after the fire, where the heat was so intense it melted the slot machines. And the theater, another place of play and entertainment, turned tragic. This is what was left of the front entrance canopy. 17 people died on the ground floor, 8 from burns, the others from smoke inhalation. Fire investigator Mike Patterson.
If there had been sprinklers in there, we'd have had some water damage pour down in that deli area, and that would have been it. That would have been it. That's as far as it would have gone. I feel personally that all we would have been doing at this particular hotel was vacuuming up water rather than putting out fire.
For many on the upper floors, death came when they smashed windows. Again, fire investigator Mike Patterson.
In quite a few instances, we found that a lot of the smoke was coming in outside the exterior of the building. Yes, up the exterior of the building. When they broke the windows out, some of the victims we found in the rooms were overcome by smoke from the windows that was let through from the outside, yes.
But the focus of attention was on allegations of serious fire and building code violations, which emerged in the days and weeks after the fire. The source of the fire was traced here to the pantry, where the blaze started as a small electrical fire, a fire that may have smoldered for hours before becoming a full-fledged inferno. Feeding on combustible contents and interior finishes, the fire spread quickly. Once it reached the casino, an array of gambling equipment, mirrored plastic ceilings, and decorative trim fueled the flames and created the poisonous smoke. The hotel did not have smoke detectors, and the fire alarm's manual system failed. The smoke spread through stairways, elevator shafts, corridors, and the ventilation equipment. The high-rise towers acted like giant chimneys.
Tourism is the lifeblood of Nevada, and residents were in a state of shock. Nevada Governor Robert List.
It's just a burned-out devastation, and it turns your stomach.
The governor set up a special fire safety commission to discuss strengthening fire safety codes.
Completely off of the property.
Off of the property, gentlemen.
Tensions were high. The pressure was on the hotel's owners to come up with answers. Just days after the fire, a controversy erupted.
Owners of the MGM Grand were told even before the hotel was built that plans for fire safety should be improved. Sunday, the hotel's top management denied that, but this man, Las Vegas fire captain Carl Lowe, told NBC News he recommended improvements in 1972 during a meeting with the architects of the hotel.
We went ahead and made recommendations, whether it be verbal with those architects sitting with us at the table or in writing.
Why do you suppose the hotel didn't change?
I have no idea.
Why wasn't this done? I never heard of his request.
The MGM fire became a unique disaster in legal terms. Hundreds of lawyers descended on Las Vegas, resulting in many multi-million-dollar personal injury claims, counterclaims, cross-claims, and defenses. Many of the cases were consolidated into what was, at the time, the first, largest, and most complex mass disaster lawsuit in history. MGM and over 80 product manufacturers and suppliers were sued. Eventually, over 1,000 claims were settled for a total of $223 million. Investigations and controversy continued. And then, less than 3 months after the MGM fire, the unthinkable happened, right in Las Vegas. Another fire, this one in the Hilton, the country's largest hotel, which was in the process of installing sprinklers. 8 people died. Unlike the MGM, this fire was set by an arsonist, but like the MGM, smoke detectors and sprinklers were absent. State officials were now in a hurry to take swift and decisive action. Soon thereafter, the Nevada legislature passed one of the toughest fire safety laws in the country. Sprinklers would be required in all hotels, old and new. 8 months after the MGM fire, the hotel reopened. $50 million was spent installing new equipment, including a state-of-the-art computer system, sprinklers throughout the hotel, and a new venting system designed to purge smoke from the hotel in minutes.